Hello and welcome to Core Finance. I'm Matt Brown. I'm joined by Mike van Dulken, who is Head of Research at Accendo Markets. Thank you for joining us today, Mike.
Thank you.
And we'll kick off with the FTSE. FTSE rolling over. It's been lagging the other indices when you look at the Dow, you look at the DAX. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, recently when I've been showing this chart, been looking much more zoomed in the last few weeks. I thought we'd go all the way back out to June to show the fact that, as you quite rightly point out, we're the oddbods really in not pushing the fresh highs. It's been several months now, coming up to 5 months. So the question here is, I think more to do with the pound. The pound strength, the bounce off the lows has proved a hindrance, as we've seen for a lot of, since the Brexit vote. The weaker pound benefited, now we've got the stronger pound off its lows being a hindrance. So what happens this week with what is widely expected to be a rate hike? My view is it's very much priced in. If it is delivered, it's a case of not quite one and done for years to come, but it'll be a long time coming for another hike, in which case the markets may well calm down. And I think, as we'll look a bit later on, if it doesn't come, that could actually be a huge surprise, which would actually probably benefit the FTSE. That could actually be the driver that could see the FTSE break higher. But I think very slim chance. I wouldn't see the Bank of England wanting to surprise to the downside now, not with all the preparation it's put in place.
Understood. And looking at the indices, and let's take a global fund manager. What is stopping them from buying the FTSE? What do you think is making them think, well, do you know what? I'm not going to invest in the FTSE. I'm going to look elsewhere.
Well, I think there's the knowledge of the fact that a huge percentage of it is very internationally exposed. So not just exposed to international growth, but exposed to the pound, which in turn is exposed to the uncertainty towards Brexit. I mean, yet another month has gone by with, unfortunately, little concrete progress. Many calls from both sides, really, for clarity. The worry now is we get to year end with very little clarity, and we've gone nigh on 18 months with very little to show of it, ever closer to the actual deadline. So I think that's probably putting investors off in a relative sense. Don't forget, we're still within very much touching distance of those highs. We've not, we've by no means seen a correction or a sell-off yet. If anything, we're very close to rising support that the optimists might pounce on at any opportunity.
I mean, it feels with the FTSE as well. It's uncertainty is priced in.
Yeah.
If we get a clear indication from the Bank of England of where rates are moving, and we start to get a bit of clarity around what's going on with Brexit negotiations, do you think that could then be the catalyst to push the FTSE higher? If we're seeing global indices as well lifting up, now a lot of global fund managers will start to look at the FTSE and say, look, there's value there. We've seen some strong numbers from the likes of HSBC this morning as global players, and now the FTSE can start to really kind of generate some growth that it hasn't been doing this year.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the FTSE has to be the index with some of the biggest overhang. You could argue that the US indices had the overhang waiting for their own stimulus news or deregulation or whatever it is. I mean, this week we will have maybe some more on tax reform, possibly announcement on a new Fed chair, but the FTSE has been the one that's consistently been waiting for good news. And whether that good news comes in terms of, no, we're definitely not getting any more, we're not getting a rate hike, I think we pretty much definitely are, but it will be a case of one and done for a good while longer. This is only really designed to tame the overheating inflation and get us coming back down a bit. It's by no means a case of like the Fed launching into one hike and then another one regularly thereafter. I think we're way away from that. Ditto for the ECB. When we're talking about tapering, we've actually just reduced the amount and extended it. We've actually done very little. It's some are talking QE ad infinitum for Europe. It may not be in a position to exit that for a very long time.
Understood. Mike, thank you very much for joining us today.